Hi everyone, it's Liam here from Rating the Races. So, a relatively disappointing weekend, Thursday, Friday and Saturday. If you actually back them a point win, you do actually make a 1.1 profit, I think it was. But we should do better than that. But yeah, let's move on and hopefully we can improve those profits more over the next few weeks. Starting with the Irish Grand National. So I like two in this race. One I've had my eye on for a little while and waiting for a race like this, and the other I think came out of a really good race. So let's start off with the one who came out of a really good race, and that horse is the Goffer, who is down here. Obviously this isn't in ratings order, this is in alphabetical order because I can't show the ratings because that's for premium members only. The Goffer is very he's still lightly raced. He's still unexposed. He's still a novice. He's a winner of a feature handicap at Leopardstown over 2.5, and then he ran quite well, or he ran really well, I thought, in the Ultima. Came there travelling really well, and just got beat by some good horses in the Ultima. Correct Rambler, Fast or Slow, Monbeg Genius. Behind him was Oscar Elite, T Clipper, Carl Philippe, 3 Under 3-5, Happy Go Lucky. I actually think that race will work out really well. I think there's going to be plenty of winners to come out of that. I think Correct Rambler goes very close in the Grand National. Fast or Slow had finished second in a Coral Cup, beating a short head. Monbeg Genius had been rapidly improving and winning loads of races. So I think for the Goffer to finish fourth as a 6-year-old, as a novice, as an improver, I think it was a very, very good effort. And I'm hoping as a 6-year-old he still can improve for a step up and trip. I mean, they obviously feel he will get further, in that they did give him an entry in the Scottish National. He's also got an entry in the Bet365 Gold Cup over 3.5. So they're obviously looking at these trips with the Goffer. If that brings out a bit more improvement for the Goffer, I think he actually runs a really good race here. I think he'll go very close. I think he's likely to be slightly more held up than he was last time. He was held up in mid-division last time. I think he's going to be even further back under Dennis O'Regan, and I don't mind that with Dennis O'Regan. I think he's a good jockey at doing that. Similarly, like Brian Hughes does it in the UK, that's his style of ride, and even Patrick Mullins, he's good at hold-up rides. I'm hoping that the extra trip, if the extra trip can bring out a bit more in the Goffer, I think there's still workable. He's still on a workable mark of 147. As I said, he's only a 6-year-old, and I think he's still improving. And if that trip helps a bit more, I think he can run a really big race. And he's a decent price. He's available at 20s. You can comfortably get 20 to 1 about the Goffer. The second horse I want to talk about is the one that I've been waiting for a race like this for a little while, and that is Am I Right? Now, Am I Right is obviously at the top here because he's in alphabetical order. Has only had the 7 runs. Has only won twice. He won a maiden hurdle by 30 lengths over 2 mile 3, and then won a beginner's chase by a nose over 2 mile 5. Now, I think the thing is with Am I Right is he wants as far can go. He actually caught my eye when he was 4th in a maiden hurdle behind Journey With Me, Minella Crooner and Kilcruit when staying on over 2.5 mile, you know, beating Falcon 8 that day. Since then, he disappointed in a maiden hurdle. He won a couple of races. He was then 3rd in a Grade 2 chase. Not beaten far, beaten 4 and a bit lengths, I think. Interestingly, he was 12 lengths clear of Panda Boy that day. He then unseated in a Grade 1 really early on. Unseated at the 11th. I think he was still well there at the time in a Grade 1. And then last time out, he dropped to a Grade 3. He finished 2nd or 3rd. He was the horse who finished 2nd has actually subsequently been disqualified. So Am I Right finished 3rd, but he wasn't beaten that far by the Devil's Coachman, 6 lengths. And he's £9 better off with the Devil's Coachman, and the Devil's Coachman is favourite. The Devil's Coachman went on to win again, and the horse in 4th that day, even further behind Am I Right, was Chemical Energy. You know, I think Chemical Energy was like 20 odd lengths behind. And I think he's £9, £6 worse off Chemical Energy. So why Chemical Energy could reverse that form, I've no idea. I really think Am I Right has been wanting this sort of trip. I don't think he'll go as forward as he normally does. I think over this trip he'll be weighted with a bit more. And I'm quite keen on Am I Right, to be honest. I think he's very unexposed. He's that novice that we don't really know his handicap mark. This is his first time running in a handicap. And is the handicap mark of 138 correct? I don't think so. I think he's got more to come over this trip as well. He does have a win over the course. Yeah, and I'd be disappointed if he doesn't run a really big race here. As you can see, he's 14s. We don't take Bet365 odds. We've got William Hill and Coral. They're both going 14s. So he's 14 to 1. So I'm quite keen on Am I Right there. I think both of those have big chances. Am I Right now over this trip, and the Goffer, if the trip brings out a little bit more, then I'm really hopeful of big runs. If I was to highlight dangers, yeah, there's plenty of them. I Am Maximus. Why has JP bought him? Royal Pagaille should get the ground. This looks an easier race than what he has been running in. Defi Bleu likes this course. Yeah, they'd probably be the ones that I'm most worried about. I think those at the head of the market, they're there to be taken on personally. So I'm going to take them on with Am I Right, who I think wants the trip, and the Goffer, who, if the trip suits and brings out a bit more, he can definitely run a big race. Thanks for listening. Hope you have a great week. We will be back for some Aintree analysis later on in the week. I'm off now for an Easter Sunday day with the family.